Hello. I think we're live. I had some issues here with the storm. I'm sure some of y'all are going through some stormy weather too. Let me know if you are. I'm going to give you guys a second to pop on here, and I'm going to check in the group to make sure everybody can hear me fine. It should be, I'm going to check on here really quick. Hold on. Okay. With the storm, I'm sure some of y'all are going through. So I hear me. Okay, cool. It should be. So as you guys are hopping on, there we go, exited out of that. As you guys are hopping on, I will be keeping a lookout in the chat. So say hello. Let me know if you're watching live or if you're catching the replay, and just put like hashtag live, hashtag replay in the comments. And we will go ahead and get started here. Oh, I see Dahlia was like, where's the live? We're in the group. Let me let her know. Live in group. Dahlia, if you're on here, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you're on here fine. Unprocessed mama. Hopefully you're able to hear me fine. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So a lot of y'all know me. Some of y'all don't. My name is Desiree, and I live in North Carolina. I grew up in Oregon, actually. My husband grew up in Connecticut. We met in Texas, which we lived there for a while. And then we settled on our homestead over here in North Carolina. We're homeschooling 3 boys over here. And I am the founder of North Carolina Nature Homeschool Co-op, as well as the Flourish Homeschool Co-op, which that is online and about to officially open tomorrow, which is really exciting. And I'm really passionate about homeschool, if you haven't noticed. So today we're going to go through like busting some different homeschooling myths, and we're also going to announce the winner for the game that we've been doing, because we've been doing the 3-day challenge game to get to know each other in the Unprocessed Mama Facebook group, and we have a winner for that. So I'll be announcing the winner that will be getting the 4-Hour School Day book by Dorinda Wilson at the end of this live video. That is the book that we're doing in our online homeschool Flourish co-op, the Mom Book Club. So stick around for that at the end. So let's first address like the elephant in the room, in the sense of like, there's obviously a problem with the public school system. And with that, it's kind of like, okay, sorry, there's a notification on there. I'm trying to keep an eye out if you guys comment, so definitely say hello if you're watching live. But yeah, so there's a problem with our school system. There's multiple problems, honestly, and I want to go ahead and address a few of those. So essentially, we do have a failed school system, and a big reason behind that is because the Rockefeller family, I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're very involved in the way that the school system is created and fund a lot of it. And one of the most popular quotes actually is by John D. Rockefeller, and he shares about how he wants a nation of workers, not thinkers. And if that right there is not a red flag for you for our schooling system, I'm shocked. Because honestly, when I first heard that, I was like, really? So workers. And it makes sense, because in the school system, we're typically like I grew up in the public school system personally, and so did my husband. And we're typically forced to work, educate ourselves for hours and hours. Excuse me. Yes, go ahead and make fun of my sneezes. Everybody does. We're pretty much forced to. Oh, hey there, Heather. Okay, I can see the comments there. Yeah, if you guys are popping on, say hello. But we're forced to pretty much sit there for hours on end and listen to what the teacher tells us to do, not explore our own interests or learn in ways that fit us best, that we learn best. And Caitlin, you said you're at your homeschool co-op now, gonna re-listen to this. Yeah, definitely. Do come back, re-listen. I'll leave the replay up in the group. Hey there, Dahlia. Yeah, so like when we're going to school, it's like we're there for hours. Like we're not even learning in the best way possible. We're not spending quality time with family, and we're there for like 8 hours. It's an insane amount of time, 5 days a week. It's such an insane amount of time. And so it's like, okay, that right there is another issue. It's taking a majority of our time. It's not supporting us in the best way that we're learning. It's not helping us to flourish in a way that we learn best. And it really is a major brainwashing system to create workers that just follow what they're told instead of critical thinkers that go out and find the best options for themselves. And not to mention that there's too many kids for each teacher. I think there's a lot of great teachers out there. I truly do. I know that they really care for the kids a lot of the times, but I also know that they have way too many kids in their classrooms to be able to support them well. They're not able to see the full picture of each kid because they don't get the whole picture. They're not the parents, you know? They're not seeing that whole picture like a parent does. And they're not able to figure out the learning styles as well. They're not able to really give the attention that is needed or even go outside of the school system's rules. And so with those restrictions, they're limited in supporting the kids in the ways that they truly need. And so this is just a major flaw. Even though there are great teachers out there, they're not able to go to their full extent to really help the kids because they're overwhelmed with too many students. They're overwhelmed with, or I should say more so, that they're restricted with, you know, the options that they have and what they're able to share and how they're able to share it. And, you know, a big reason why I personally, and I know a lot of other moms that I've talked with, have started homeschooling. Yes, it's all of these failed systems, but even more so, it's wanting to have a family centered experience. I really want to nurture the relationship that I have with my kids, and I know that so many of you do too. I really want to see them flourish and I want to flourish with them. And it truly is a beautiful experience to homeschool. So, with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and tackle some of these common homeschooling myths. A lot of these thoughts I had in the beginning, actually, of my homeschool journey that I started about 4 years ago. And I'm going to tackle them with you guys. So, number one, that I'm sure many of you have experienced is feeling unqualified. So maybe you think that you didn't, or you realize that you didn't graduate from college. And you're like, oh, since I don't have a college degree like a teacher, I must not be able to educate my kid. Or maybe you think that, I'm horrible at math. Everybody raise a hand in the comments if you're horrible at math, because that's me. So maybe you thought you're horrible at math or science or whatever subject, public speaking, you don't know how to teach well, any of these things. Maybe you've had those thoughts that, you know, led you to feeling like you were unqualified. And first thing I want to address in this area is that God made you the parent of your children for a reason. You are the most equipped to care for your children. You. God put you in charge for a reason. So trust God in that. He knows more than we do. And then two, typically, all like some people might think, oh, you need a college degree, No. Typically you just need a high school diploma or equivalent. So you can scratch out needing some sort of college degree to be able to homeschool your kids. Also, there's so many resources available to you to help you. So if you're like, oh, I don't know, math well, guess what? There's curriculums for that. There are co-ops for that. There are so many online and in-person resources for that. And we're going to go through some of them. So some resources that you could get online, or there's even like homeschool stores that you can look up in your area too. Just like go on Google Maps and type in homeschool stores and see what pops up, or online, looking around for like homeschool stores, like type that in and see what comes up. There's also Facebook groups for like buy, sell, trade homeschool curriculums. Like there's lots of options with that. If you're wanting to get like an original curriculum, which I know a lot of parents do, because sometimes if you're like getting a resold curriculum, sometimes the content is missing. So you'll want to pay attention to the fact of like, okay, is this a curriculum that has a lot of materials that are going to be missing? Or is it just like, you're open reading and you can rebuy that curriculum and not be missing much curriculum? So you'll want to pay attention to that, but there's lots of curriculum. So a few of my favorite curriculums are Easy Peasy, and that is actually an online free curriculum. There's also Peaceful Press. There is also Teach Me About God, and that's actually a book that is like hands-on activities and resources for you to do with your kids and incorporate, biblical teaching into your curriculum, which that's really important to me, and a lot of them can miss out on that. Peaceful Press has a little bit of this incorporated like biblical teaching as well, which is super cool. And then My Father's World is a bit more of like a grab and go curriculum. Like it comes with the supplies and such, so you are going to be paying for that and the extra cost, but it is really nice if you just want a grab and go curriculum. And that's just like a top few suggestions. There are so many different suggestions out there for curriculums that I would suggest that are all great, but those are a few of my favorite to help you. So when you have these resources like curriculums, you're just following the instructions or giving the instructions to your children. And you don't have to go and find all of it. Like it's all right there in your curriculum if you want to do it that way. And then there's co-ops online and in person. I don't see as many of them online. And if you live in a rural area like I do now, it can be far, like really far drives pretty much to get to a co-op. Or it could be co-ops that don't exactly fit what you're looking for, and that's all okay. Look around, give them a try. If it works for you, great. If not, there are online resources. I a lot of time will use a mixture of the things, and I know a lot of other moms do too. We will use, in-person resources, physical resources, printout resources, sent in the mail resources, picked up at a store resources, all these different types of resources we will use to support us. And co-ops are a great way. It's pretty much just a group of homeschooling moms. That's what a co-op is. And they come together and they support each other and they share and they do activities and lessons and give information to help us all along our homeschooling journey. And it is such a blessing. It is such a great experience. And I've enjoyed quite a few in my area, but I've even started up ones, as you know, in my area because I wasn't finding exactly what I was looking for. I also have started the online Flourish Co-op because I know a lot of you don't want to drive far distances for a co-op, and we really shouldn't have to. We should be able to have, multiple resources to pick from to support us in our journey when we're feeling like we need that support, which I truly believe all of us do, because it's so great to learn wisdom from other moms and how they're doing things and just things you might have missed. So co-ops are just great options for that as well. And then pretty much there's also books, okay? So different book resources, like the 4-Hour School Day by Dorinda Wilson. That's the book that we're about to start reading in our mom book club and the Flourish Homeschool Co-op, because that is a great one that really tackles like how to thrive in homeschooling, how to make it work for your family, and so you can really flourish in your homeschooling journey. And that is all what the Flourish Homeschool Co-op is about. And there's also podcasts. You can check out my podcast, the Confident Homeschooling Homemakers podcast, or you can check out, what's another good one? The Homeschool Made Simple. That's another good one. Dorinda Wilson, she also has a homeschool podcast. I would definitely recommend that as well. There's blogs, resources, just looking online, blogs, Pinterest, stuff like that, to look up homeschool resources, printouts, fun stuff like that. There is also tutors. Of course, there's tutors and mentors that you can hire online or in person. And all of these different things are at your access. You have all these resources to pull out of and pick what works best for you and your family so that you can truly flourish. Now, kind of going further on to another subject, the academic success kind of subject. My homeschool kid won't be able to go to college thought, or my homeschool kid won't be educated well because I don't know enough. Yes, there's the curriculums, but it can still be a little bit daunting. Like, am I going to be able to do this? You might be feeling overwhelmed. You might be feeling confused. And I want to let you know that a couple of statistics actually on homeschool students to reassure you as you go through this journey. There's different assessments you can do along the way, whether it's, just discussing with your kids, or whether it is, actually taking a written assessment. There's lots of different ways to, but I want to share these statistics with you. So, homeschooled students perform above average on standardized tests, with the average homeschooler scoring in the 65th to 80th percentile. That's awesome. And I don't know about you guys, I actually knew one girl that was homeschooled growing up, and she came to public school for like a year in elementary and then a year in high school, and she was totally smarter than me, honestly. She so was. Okay, here's another quote. An analysis by the National Home Education Research Institute found that homeschooled students outperform their traditionally schooled peers 78% of the time. 78%. Wow. Another study conducted by the National Home Education Research Institute said that homeschooled students scored significantly higher than their public school counterparts on the ACT and SAT college entrance exams. So not only are homeschoolers getting into college, they're actually more likely to get into college if they choose that route, because they have, or I should say more likely to get into the college that they choose because they have these higher scores. So they're going to stand out, which is awesome. Another NHERI, that's just like the abbreviation for that, study found that homeschooled students who attended college had higher GPAs than their traditionally schooled peers. So not only are they getting in with higher scores, they're also continuing on throughout their college career with a higher GPA, which is awesome. let me see here. This is saying, can you guys hear me fine? This is saying that the frame might be moving a little bit slow. Is the frame moving slow at all for any of y'all? Please let me know if so. I'll see what this says here. It's not showing anything. If it's moving slow at all at any point, let me know so I can see if I can make any adjustments at all. I don't see anything right now to make, but just let me know. Because, yeah, it's saying that the frame is moving a little slow. So I'll be keeping on lookout in the comments for that, and let me know, and I will work on adjusting that if need be. Okay, so we're talking about let me go back over here. You hear me okay? Okay, awesome. Thank you for letting me know, Heather. Okay, so we were talking about the GPA. So yeah, they're actually doing even better throughout the college experience. So I also want to kind of share a little bit of research. I was trying to find proof for a theory that I have, and I can't find the official proof. I can't prove this last one, but I would bet you that homeschool students that go to college are more likely to even not just have higher GPAs, but also graduate college, because typically when you're homeschooled, you're able to make the decision if college is actually the best route for you, because sometimes it is. There are some jobs out there that college is the best route, and sometimes it is not. And so being raised in a homeschooled experience and being able to go and do like internships and such will allow a child to truly see like more so what they want to do. They'll be able to switch careers less frequently and get a head start on what they actually want to be doing and doing it in the best way possible versus going into crazy amounts of debt, which is another problem with the traditional school system. So I can't prove that last one, but I truly believe that is. Pretty much all I was able to find was that the amount of homeschooled students that complete college up until graduation is 67%. And then I was able to find that the amount of public high school students that go to college is 62%. And then the amount of the entire college graduates is around 62%. So in general, I wasn't able to get the exact statistics for figuring out if my theory is correct. But if you know of one, let me know, because I really think that would be true as well. All right, let's move on to the next one. So homeschooling looks like public school. So I want to tackle this myth, because when I first started homeschooling, I was like, okay, I'm going to get a little desk and I'm going to sit down and school my kid, and I'm going to have to figure out a way to do that for like, 6 hours out of the day? And I was like, what? How am I going to find the time for that? Because I'm homesteading, I'm a stay-at-home mom to 3 kids, I'm taking care of the entire home, I cook from scratch, we live in an area where we don't have the support of family. Like, what? How am I supposed to do this? And so I was like, this is really weird. And that book, The 4-Hour School Day, that we're about to read, will touch on this quite a bit, which is really cool. But it's not 6 to 8 hour school days, okay? You're not doing that at home. It'll vary based on age, but since you're giving the attention to your kids and you're not taking care of as many kids as a teacher is, you're able to get through things quicker. You're able to understand your student better, your child, your student, you're able to understand them more. So you're able to actually go ahead and support them in a quicker, smoother, more beneficial way than the teacher having to spend all that wasted time trying to figure that out. You'll already kind of know that insight about your child. You will also be able to not waste time like driving back and forth to school, and you'll be able to incorporate schooling throughout everything, even lunchtime if you wanted. So like there are lots of different ways for that. And then when you're homeschooling, it's typically like when you're first starting out, when your kids are really young, and this varies, everybody starts schooling their kids at different ages. I start around a year old because I'm really passionate about learning through play. And so we just play a lot, and there's so much education from colors and animals and numbers that begins, even just around that age, and sign language while they're eating and such like that for like more food or, drink or all done, stuff like that, which technically it's two hands. But, all those different ways you'll actually be able to educate your kid. And at that age, it's more around that like 15 to 30 minute mark that you're, having intentional time educating them. And sometimes it's, every day of the week. Sometimes it's just a couple days of the week. You're able to have so much flexibility with this. And there's another book that tackles like the studies behind better late than early, like better to start educating your kid in the, I would say, more traditional sense, but not fully traditional sense of like work books extremely, or like trying to really make sure they know math super early on. I highly recommend it. It's such a fascinating book. It's called Better Late Than Early. Definitely check that one out. We might end up going through that in the book club and the Flourish co-op later on in the year after we're finished with the 4-hour school day, because that is such a great one. But pretty much, like I was saying, it's a smaller amount of time. And then as your kid gets older, yes, it will be a larger amount of time, but more up to like 2 to 4 hours at the most. And that entire time is not you sitting there with them doing schoolwork. As your child gets older, they're going to be more independent. They're going to be able to, do a lot of work on their own, and you're more so grading or, answering questions here and there. So don't be overwhelmed by the time factor. It does not look like your traditional school systems. Another thing would be that if you have siblings, I know that this can be kind of a concern, and Gather Round, that homeschool curriculum, is a great one for supporting this. And your kids can help actually teach each other. There are lots of lessons within, like, oh, I'm going to have my older kid, read a book to my younger kid. They're learning public speaking right there. Okay, so there's lots of ways. And then, like, the younger kid is obviously learning how to read and such from the older kid. So there are lots of different ways that you're able to actually incorporate your kids supporting and educating each other too, which is fascinating. And that's like what I'm so about, family, the whole family interacting and building these relationships. And it's a beautiful experience. Okay, homeschooling is unaffordable. This is another myth, because you can do this as cheap as you would want to or as expensive as you would want to. Truly, it's just all about what you're looking for, what will support you the most while educating your kids, and your kids the most with how they learn. And typically, the average for homeschooling, and this includes like curriculum, supplies, books, activities, field trips, co-ops, all the things, is around $700 to $1,800 a year. And you can still do this way cheaper if you'd want to. You can get it to practically free, using a library card and, an affordable co-op, and spend, a very small amount each month. And the difference, though, is that the average public school cost, even though, yes, taxes pay for public school, guess what? There's still sports, there's still supplies, and there's still school lunches that cost a lot more than just making food at home. And so this actually averages out to $2,090 a year. So even public school is actually more unaffordable than homeschool. And then, of course, we have private school, which, yeah, it's definitely going to cost more. The average in the US is $10K a year for private school. And sadly, both public and private school, they're, understaffed of teacher per kid typically. And so it's just not the best setup. And to be paying more for that is another part of the failed school system, honestly. All right, socialization. So for all of you that are like, oh, how am I going to socialize my kid? And I had that question too at first. How am I going to make sure my kid's not a hermit, or that they get social skills, or that I'm not sheltering them too much, that they actually see the world, things like this. Homeschooling has actually been associated with positive outcomes, including higher levels of academic achievement, better socialization, and improved mental health. There are actually studies done that have shown that. Also, homeschooled students have better development communication skills and stronger relationships with family members than traditionally schooled students. So those are just a couple statistics behind research that can show you that, that actually isn't the case. But some ways that we implement these things so that that's, not the case is that, okay, field trips for one. We go on field trips with our co-ops, with family, with friends. We go out just ourselves, we do stuff like that. There's pen pals. Obviously just spending time with family, spending time with friends. There's co-ops, like, I was mentioning, there's in-person ones, and there's also online ones. Like with our Flourish Online Homeschool Co-op, we operate inside a VIP private Facebook group. And we have just a community of homeschooling moms that are all able to flourish through learning and from each other, and the flexibility and freedom, and have that support with each other, and a bunch of resources in there. So you have lots of different options for socialization. Dahlia, you said, yes, this seems to be everyone's concern. Family is so against this, but me and hubby want the kids to be homeschooled middle school and high school. Yeah, so share with them these statistics. And I'm going to share a link in the comments with y'all to check out these statistics. There was a list of different statistics, like the ones I had mentioned. So homeschooling truly has proven through studies to actually be a better education for our kids, a better option to help them flourish and support the next generation. So for all of you that have family that are struggling with these concerns, share this video. I will download this and I will send you a private link to share with your family. Or I will just send you, like I said, the link to the comments, or a link in the comments that will share the studies so that you can share with your family, because I know that can be a concern. And so I want to not only help you bust some homeschool myths, but also your family and friends. All right, another concern is that there's no extracurriculars. So, for example, in school, it's like, oh, there is all these different sports, like cheerleading, this, and that. Well, guess what? There are city and county sports that you can still put your kids in. My goodness, there's even a church not too far from us that does sports for kids that are in any, school system around that they can join. I guess it would technically be called city sports, county sports, one of those. So there's different things that you can look into for that alone. There are private facilities. Think of your typical karate private facilities, or cheerleading or dance private facilities that you can go and invest in getting your kids extracurricular activities. And that's included, by the way. Remember that price I told you for homeschooling on average? Those things are included in that price. So it's still more affordable even using those extracurricular activities to homeschool. So there's just endless resources, honestly, for different extracurriculars. There's also online extracurricular activities, whether it be a like printout that you print from Pinterest, like I was mentioning, or if it's something like in our online Flourish co-op, we have weekly co-op classes. So like sometimes it'll be things like life skill activities, and other times it will be like art activities. Other times it will be like entrepreneurial activities, different things like that. And that's all different extracurricular experiences that the entire family gets to enjoy, that I've made fit for all the different ages to enjoy. And so that's been really fun for me to create, actually, because even as like an adult, I'm able to learn different things throughout doing it, and I absolutely love that. And it really makes it not only an experience for my kids and your kids to flourish, but also for me and you, the moms, the entire family, to flourish. So really the list goes on and on for different extracurriculars and for different, honestly, resources, like just looking up YouTube, just looking up, like I mentioned, all the different co-ops. There's a lot of different, like, I'll be sharing more content more and more about like different resources too. And all the moms go back and forth in the group, both groups, the Unprocessed Mama group and the Flourish Homeschool Co-op group, about different resources. And so within, like, just some of the moms have been saying about resources within the Flourish Homeschool Co-op, that they love the different types of play ideas and how simple it is, and that they love all of the different printables and planning pages and all the organizing sheets, and how it's amazing, all the different activity options. And so if you're really looking for that, then definitely go ahead and put a comment below, say Flourish, and I will send you more details on the Flourish Co-op so you can see if that's a good fit for your family. And I want to share this scripture about biblical flourishing, because this is the reason behind the why I picked the name for the Flourish Co-op. There's Jeremiah, well, I should say one of the reasons. Jeremiah 29, 4 through 7 addresses that when we flourish, we're flourishing when we help others flourish. And so the whole concept behind the online Flourish Homeschool Co-op is that not only are there, resources to help you get started in flourishing in your homeschooling journey, but also there's the co-op classes, but also there is the community of moms coming together to build friendships and to truly learn and mentor each other. Some are well seasoned and experienced, some are new, to have the different perspectives of that and help each other flourish so that we all can flourish. And so that's a really big reason behind the name that I chose for the online Flourish Co-op that is opening tomorrow officially. And I'm just really excited about it. We already have some people kind of getting in there, and the official launch is tomorrow, though. So like I said, if you have questions, if you want to get started, if you want to come and flourish with us in the online VIP Flourish Homeschool Co-op group, comment Flourish below in the comments and I will send you all the details. I'm also going to share like a little walk through the group so you can kind of see how it works. We're operating all online within the Facebook group. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today and just going through these different homeschooling myths that we just busted, that don't have to hold you back, that don't have to hold your friends back, that you can share with your friends, you can share with your family members, that you can leave feeling more equipped about your decision to homeschool your kids, and that it truly is the best decision for you and your family. And so I want to now go through and announce the winner here. I want to see, there's honestly, guys, there's so many different like reasons to homeschool. I only touched on a handful. There's so many, myths to bust when it comes to homeschooling. I only touched on a handful. we don't got all day. Like, I'll have to come back and do more, of these busting homeschool myths lives so that we can do more of this together. Like I said, if there's more that you've heard, share them in the comments with me. If there's something that you're having a concern about, if there's something that a friend or family has brought up that you don't really know how to answer, or you're feeling unqualified, anything like that about, put it in the comments and we will definitely chat about it. Dahlia, you said you're so excited to share the stats with my family. Yes, I will be coming back and putting that link for all those stats and resources for you to share with your family. So I will be sharing all the details for that, for the statistics that we talked about, for just the online Flourish Co-op in general, for y'all to check out to see if it's a good fit for y'all. And I'm looking forward to just equipping y'all and helping y'all flourish in your homeschool journeys. Y'all have a great day.